Hello, can you hear me now? Dad Jokes, thank you so much for the 28 months. Oh my. Crazy. Hi Gio, how's it going? We are, oh my goodness! Thank you for the resub, Gio. What is this alert? It should be a much cuter one, I don't know. A level 1 high train. Go, guys. I am, waiting for the test, the network test to open back up. I've got a few minutes, so I thought I'd catch up since I haven't been streaming in a while. Plus, I'm gonna try to record this and make a little YouTube video from it, to talk about my experience playing it, I guess. Hopefully I get to actually play it. So, you'll see. Posting on, Instagram that I am live. How are you guys? What have you been up to? I was sick, and now I am not. Go back to work tomorrow. Yeah, so that's why I don't have face cam or any of my overlays on, really. That alert one. Kinda. I don't know how to fix that though. I thought I had a specific one. We spent the day setting up build. Interesting. Why would you? Why did you do that? I don't know anything about it. I don't even remember which one we're supposed to be using. Is it Streamlabs or Stream? I'll move that out of the way. How does the audio sound? You get any double audio or anything? I was having a hard time at first. Hope you're feeling better. I am feeling better, thank you. My paste bin got banned. Gonna be working on commands while watching this. Oh. Okay, interesting. Oh my god. Flower. My voice is a little quiet. Let me turn the game audio down then, because I am a soft spoken person. How does that how is that working? Hopefully that's better. Alert box. Let's try to get this fixed. Follows. Image is. How do I do this? Different. Where's the test button? Image. Select. Maybe. Interesting. Copied. Try this. Let's try this. Hi, Evil. How are you? That's solid. Okay, perfect. Hi, Flower. Hi, hi. Not the booty hole. How are you guys doing today? What have you been up to? How was work? How was Valentine's Day? I am doing swimmingly. I hope that this thing works, because it wasn't working for a lot of people, apparently. Okay, I don't know how to test this and see if it works now. Preview. Oh, test. Okay. That should work. We made dinner and spent some time together. Very cute. Mine is good. What did you guys have for dinner? And then are y'all just gaming now? Also, Doku showed me what he left you in Minecraft, and I thought it was very cute. I have not been able to see. He said you left him something too, but I haven't seen that yet. And my Valentine's was good. I ran some errands, and then Doku and I had some dinner, and then now we're doing this. Been very chill. It's been good, especially with us being sick and stuff. We kept it very low key, but it was nice because we get to spend the whole week together. So in my opinion, it was the best Valentine's Day gift I could have gotten. Yeah, because we literally just got to like lay around and rest and play games and talk, and it was like a long vacation. It was a staycation. It was good. Yeah. He was like, we were hanging out the other night, and I think I was watching a video or something, and I was like, oh, I started Berserk, the anime, and I was like, asking him if he wanted to watch it with me, and he was like, well, I'm kind of busy, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm making Gio a Valentine's gift. And I was like, okay. So I watched him make it, and it ended up so cute. I thought it was so funny. I love that. It was so cute. You shall see how this network test goes. It was causing people grief earlier, so I don't know if they'll have fixed it by now. But I saw some people playing it, I think. Very adorable. I do have to agree. Yeah, I started Berserk too on that note. I don't know if anybody's watched that, but it one of the writers of Elden Ring was like really inspired by it, and there are some things in the game that are inspired by things from Berserk, so I wanted to watch it and see what the heck is going on. Pretty good so far. I don't think it's gonna let me. Berserk is a classic. Oh, you've seen it? I've heard lots of good things. I was trying to think of something to watch the other night, and I just got a Crunchyroll account and was like, fuck it, let's do it finally. Yeah, I'm watching the one that came out in 2016, I think. I'm not quite sure what the order is. But there's only a few of them on Crunchyroll, so I was like, I guess I'll start here. Yeah, I'm very new to anime, so I haven't watched too many, and the ones I have watched are like either girly pop ones or like Netflix ones or dark ones. I like those too, especially with like religious themes. Eat that shit up. Seraph of the End is really good. I like demons and angels and stuff, and vampires. Very much like vampires. So is awake from his nap. So we're basically just gonna wait here a few more. Should open up 5. We want to smoke. One second. Okay, wait. I'm sorry, I'm back. I see that we watch an anime once in a while, but my taste and history with anime is very normie. So like Dragon Ball normie, or like, I don't know what you mean by that. It had to be a bit more specific. I don't care. Very mainstream. Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, Gundam, Rurouni Kenshin. Okay. On IG? No. Let me check. Yes. If you want to do Ben and Jerry's, that's fine. I don't know how Sonic will sit on my... I do know how Ben and Jerry's will sit. Let me see what... Oh! Let's have Shreks! What is this? Dead. That's foul. You like jazz? That's a good one too. Oh god. I can't keep my panties. Amen. A SZA one? Might be blind, but it's clear that you're the one for me. These are so good. These are so good. Please don't take me serious. I know. I saw someone posted that one in my Discord too. Let's see if I can get in. Share so. Oh my god, is it letting me in? Upcoming test session to improve stability. Multiplayer password disabled. Don't set a password. Holy shit. We're in, boys. I think we're gonna try to be... Oh. My audio's taking a while. How do I fix it? Off now. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's taking forever. Hold. Go capture. One second, y'all. Yep. Yeah. I don't know who to be though. Should I try the Duchess or should I do Recluse? She seems really hard. Quite difficult. Alright, y'all, let's see if we can get into a game. This is the moment of truth. Because this is where I kept getting kicked out earlier. Isn't she such a baddie? Her eyes kind of freak me out. Dark white. Oh my god, we're getting in a game! There's already another person! I can't believe it's working! Best day ever. Let's, staff is what I'm starting with. FP is big, but it's not that big. Yeah, there's emotes still. Oh my god, I found a game. Oh my god, I found a game. God. Prepare to be amazed. Nothing. I'm so scared. Oh shit. God. My god. It's working! I have no idea what I'm doing, y'all, so bear with me. Holy shit, I can't believe it's working. Okay. Great. Hi, Waffle! What's up? Holy shit. Holy shit. Where are we going, y'all? Where are we dropping, boys? Shit. Oh, dropping already. Here, I guess? Oh my god. They're so fast. Oh my god, we're in it. We're in it, y'all. We're in it. We're fucking in it. Y'all gonna fight? Oh, they're so easy to kill. Okay, cool. I have a limited amount of, mana, though. Okay. Throwing darts. Darts. The other thing. Fire pot. There's so much shit. They just left already. Oh. How would you ping? How do you ping things? Holy shit, they're leaving me. This is crazy. There's also no fall damage either. Oh god, this is crazy. Shit, we're going right into... Not inside. What are they doing? Oh my god, I'm so confused. Not good at this, y'all. I'm sorry, I don't know where I'm going. Oh, the hands. I only have a kick? Oh, I got the fire. Oh, that was so smart of me. I only have a finite amount of shit. They gonna give us anything? This way. So apparently we have 7 minutes to get through the map. And I am out of magic. Ah! Ah! Oh shit, I died. They know to hit me? Oh shit. This might be it, boys. Come hit us! Oh my god. Fucking died. I fucking died. Dang, my health went down. A lot. Ooh! Oh. Okay. Is this a mana tree? What's happening here? Genuinely, it does! It restores it. Okay, amazing. I gotta go get all my shit back. Yeah! Coming, y'all! I'm coming! So, my HP, I got a debuff on it. Turtleneck. Grease. Hot, sure. Whoa! I need to use a side of grace, honestly. Crazy. I'm gonna go where the Duchess is, cause kinda cool. So the mechanics are not terrible. Because I'm used to the game. It's definitely feels like it's made for people who know the game already. Touch it. I level up. I don't know what I'm leveling. It's just my level in general. the hell is going on? Is that the storm? Ah, shit. What's this? Fire belongings. Oh! Shit. I don't know how to heal. Fuck. Should've used my ult on them. Just hit me! Girl, girl. Where's the other dude? Here we go. Bitch. I don't know how to heal. There we go. Oh. I don't know how to do this. Shit. Ooh. Oh my god. Ion, how's it going? Forgot how I healed. Not gonna have any more magic. Out of magic. Craziness. Here we go. Got a sword now. I am going so good. Need to find a tree that has FP. Ooh, ooh. Can't do shit. Ooh. How did I throw this last time? Ooh. Nope. Don't know how to do this. How did I use my... There we go. One magic pot. We almost got this shit, but it's taking so long. Yeah, thank you. Can't say have a good stream. Okay. Have a good one. Oh, I dodged that like a fucking pro. Oh. Yeah, we fucking did it. Item. Can't use a great... Wait, yes I can. Sure. Where do we go to now? Alright. Oh, the storm! Alright. Okay, it's a little wonky, not gonna lie. We're in the ring, so we don't have to really worry about that. Where should we go? Say we just keep going this way, right? This Duchess. Well, that's the ring. Oh shit, I'm going the wrong way. Punching. No magic? Oh, I'm good on magic now. There's a tree too. Okay, but good. Woohoo! Oh shit. Oh, not the Crucible Knight. Did I get rid of the wrong... Oh, the ring! You know. Run out of the shit. Nice. Nice. Didn't get anything for that? Ah, shit. Oh, shit! Oh my god. Alright, I got up. I wouldn't say I'm super powerful yet. I'm a little worried about that. Just a little bit. Heal ailment. Dang, this shit is tiny. Alright. What? Ah! Oh, I got all the fingers. This is so fun, y'all. I'm having a blast. I can't say how I'll feel when we get to the boss. Yeah, suck it. Suck it. Oh shit, a centipede demon. What the fuck is that? And I'm almost out of magic. How is that real? Oh, there's a tree up there. Come on. It's not a tree. Ah, shit. I'm not gonna have any magic. How am I supposed to do this? I can do that. Y'all. How am I supposed to... Fuck. Now I'm out. I don't even know how to do this. Oh! Oh, yes. Pick that shit up. Right, where is that? Okay. I don't know how to open my shop. How do I... Okay. Ah! Oh, shit. Alright. There we go. I can't do anything. Oh my god. And there's dogs. I gotta see if I can find some fucking magic. It'll be worth it. No! Oh my god. It's open. Bit wilder. Oh. Ah! Oh my god. Oh, fuck yeah. Wait, oh, yeah, hit it, hit it. Keep hitting it, keep hitting it. I think this game's gonna be fun as shit, especially if you have friends who like beating monsters and shit. That's what Elden Ring's all about. Oh shit, I can't see. Can't see. I'm almost to ult again though. Oh god. I ain't doing shit. I have no more heals. Hit it, y'all. I got some magic back. Get that shit. We totally got this. Ugh. Okay, I had one little... Wilder's down again, bro. Woo! Thank you guys for being here. Oh fuck. Man. No more health. I don't think I'm ever gonna get my... Wait, hey yo. Oh, so I'm just dumb. Come on. Fire damage. Alright, shit. We're gonna get Duchess first. Oh my god, I went die. Shit. Oh my god. I got knocked. Oh, I'm alive! Oh, I did the wrong thing again. Oh, and I have magic now! Oh my god. Oh? Oh no. So I wasn't using an ability this whole time. That's fine. Oh shit. Storm is coming in. Oh shit. I killed it! I killed it! Yeah! I killed that shit! Let's go! Yes, oh my god. Thank you. We did that shit. That was awesome. I enjoyed the shit out of that. Yeah. That was so cool. Oh yeah, into the day 2, y'all! Yeah! We made it another night. Fuck a dragon. Where to next? Go here. How do I? Okay. Go this way. Covered in blood. I look sick as hell. That was so cool. I love this game. Thanks, babe. Wahoo! This is so cool. I keep saying that's literally the only thing I'm saying, but I'm enjoying myself immensely. Is this a MMO version of Elden Ring? No, it's a multiplayer, but it's groups of 3 and you basically run around the map getting strong and fighting bosses to like survive the night. Basically getting getting to day 3 is what you want to do, and then once you beat the boss on day 3, you've like beat a game, essentially. Get me up on there. Yeah, stab you in the back. Oh shit. I keep pressing the wrong button. I'm not getting any magic from this shit. Are we deciding not to fight this? What's going on? Here we go. Hi, Alex. Oh shit! Thank you for the sub. Loud as hell. Hear me a little bit. I'm just gonna. Oh god. If we're fighting this, I need us to commit. My character is so cool. I'm glad I ended up picking her. A good idea, babes. I'm not doing anything to this. Nothing at all. There we go. So we got, oh, periods. Is there another? Turtleneck. Yes, please. Starlight shards. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oil crown. Oh. Is that a serpent blade? Can't use this that I have, but dang, so she used her magic and I got some of that. That's so cool. Astral, hello! Me too! It's so fun so far, actually. Oh. You get like a Bloodborne backstep with it too. Look at that. That was cool as shit. So do we have to fight 3 of these? Oh shit, the ring is gonna... Shit. Gotta go. Shit. Didn't even kill them all either. It's so annoying. Baby, you got your daily nuts. Hee hee. Hee hee. What you doing, y'all? Oh! Oh my god! Why would you fucking do that? That was so loud in my ears. Shit. I mean, they're still fighting. I feel like it's not worth it. God damn. Thought that was in game? I know, right? Stop it. Such a punk. You love doing them. I'm glad you get enjoyment from it. Fucking die. Thank fuck. Did it. Yeah, crystal staff. Pretty cool. Alright, now let's get the fuck out of here. Woohoo! Astro, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Oh, it takes so much to pull up. Just... We can just jump off the edge. I find that so interesting. The fall damage. Ew. How was work? Hope you're doing well. No fall damage. I know, it's crazy, right? I know! So, like, everyone needs to get this so you can play with me. I will be playing the shit out of this. And, like, there's a DLC coming out for it apparently, too. That's gonna add more bosses to fight. Just very excited about all of it. I made a... You can suck up the healing power and heal your teammates. That's insane. Or does that just heal me? Oh, that works. Can't do it now. Completely outrageous. Ran out of meat? How does one run out of meat? Easy. Dragon wound grease. AirPod. I was like, eh. Where do we go now? I don't think that does heal my teammates, but it definitely heals me. Oh. So these are perma buffs too. Explosive ghost flame. You have to pick stuff so fast. Wild out here cooking with the Godskin peeler. Yup. There's so many things from the base game. But at the same time, nothing is the same. Lightning pot. Get one though. Oh. Boiled prawn. Nothing stone. Ketchup. Where to now? I'm really enjoying Recluse though. I thought, oh, down, I guess. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whoa, what the heck is this fucking tree? What? Oh, frenzy. What? Hello? Probably shouldn't be doing this by myself. Can I? Are the flames the battle royale storm? Yes. Here's the map. We're about to fight the boss and I do not believe we are ready. That's fine. Demi-human queen staff. Okay. Excuse me. Golden hippopotamus? Holy fuck. Oh. Shit. Ow. Oh. God damn. Dude. Whew. Ouch. Big boy. Big boy. I keep pushing the wrong button. Oh no, no, no. Is this even doing anything to him? Oh my god. Oh my god. Can I grab any magic? Because there's not any. Is that life-stealing blood magic sorcery? I believe so. Get him, Duchess. Get him. Oh. Oh, oh. Oh, shit. I'm gonna get his ass. I pushed the wrong button. Oh, I took... Forgot how to use everything. I forgot how to do everything. Shit. Shit. Fuck me. What the hell? Oh my god. Get his ass, please. How do I use this goddamn thing? Fuck, I forgot how to use my bottom thing. Ah, shit. I'm not surviving this. Damn. No. Oh. I forgot how to use all the things. Damn, that sucks. We did good though. We got to day 2 on our first try. I'd say that's pretty good. Relic rites. Conduct a relic rite to invoke the power of an obtained relic. The supportive power of a relic activated through a relic rite takes effect upon departure. Right. Let's see. Is this it? No. Thank you, baby. So that's pretty neat. That's for what? Loose. Dang, this is so neat. Okay, so we only get to try to fight one of the bosses, but that's alright.
Do you need help with something?
She's pretty cool, but I really like my girl Recluse. And it's so weird, the round table is like the same, but not the same. This is where the All-Knowing's office should be. Instead, you get to go outside and practice with stuff. The training area. Good look at the controls. Go guide. Alright, we got 2 players. Play, sound, network, controller setting. Use flask is square. Backs up is dodge, event. Jesus Christ, I had myself muted. I didn't even get to look at the button! I'm just gonna keep being her. When does this come out again? May. I don't know if there's anything specific with the lore yet. I know this is like an alternate reality type deal. Yeah, and we don't have torrent anymore. We could double jump. Pretty cool. Trying to think what else. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm gonna try to stream this a few more times this weekend, I think. Day 1. I say go. My god, the health starts out so fucking oh. Feel like a vet now. Know what I'm doing. Fire grease, fire grease. Fire pot. Alright. Go this way. Gonna oh, look at this! Wait! Oh my gosh. Wrong thing. Wait, where I am? Here, come here, come here. Here. Let's see what's in here. Character looks like she would be... Who Rena would be? Yeah, right. Jump down, but I don't want to go without them, so I probably shouldn't. Wasting my time. I just got up here, yeah! Plus you get stuff to upgrade your weapons. Oh! Oh, shit. Okay. Wilder's not with us, which is not good, but... His own damn fault. And this bitch is deep. Need to find a weapon. Is this? Needs to be a weapon. Dragon wood. Is it? I can't do anything. This? I don't even know how to use it. Oh. Coming back up? What's happening? Yeah. We're getting... Have no magic. No magic! I'm gonna die. Damn. Get out of here. Damn, that was a waste of fucking time. Where's Wilder? Okay, he's coming. Can't do anything with this shit. I have a feeling this is not going to be a very good game. Got me worrying just a little bit. Fucking dragon. And I need a weapon. Great knife. Shit, I guess. How the hell do I use this shit again? I really hate that we're not doing this stuff together. Man, that first one just went so well. I feel like the second we get into something. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Oh shit. Eat it. I have not up. Oh my god. Need a sight of grace. Cause that storm is coming in. It. Oh, thank God. Level 3? Oh. Not killed. Cured. Near enough people. Needing clarifying. Get that shit. Trying to tell me where to go. I'm so. Shit, bro. Alright, well. Sometimes they go better than others. That's okay. I just have a feeling that when we get in a fight, it's not gonna be very good. It's gonna keep closing until we get closer in the circle, I guess. I keep pressing the wrong button. Not even fighting that right now. Bam. So I think probably the hardest part will be people getting used to having to move so fast. Because we definitely did not fight enough shit to get us leveled up enough for this boss. Alexa, what the hell are you doing, girl? Yeah? Can't grab any fucking... Ouch. Really don't want to use any of my... Fuck, I can't remember how to use it. There we go. Can't I... Shit. I can't see what the creature... It's a centipede demon. It's like multiple heads on it. Oh, I was not paying. That magic is awesome. Oh, Duchess. You bitch. Takes me so long. I almost have my ult again. Oh! Oh my god, okay, or not. I'm so glad the servers are working so much better. I just don't think they thought as many people would play. Oh my god, this Duchess. I'm gonna have to... She died. Trying to get its attention. Duchess, you can't get right up under it. Give me fire! Okay. Wilder needs to be up on it, and he's just not. Whoa! Okay, he does really good against... Or, oh shit. Blood damage is really good against him. Ouch. Duchess. You mother. Hubbard. Oh, fuck. We might lose it. Get somebody up in this time, please. Yes, yes, you can lock onto me too. Oh my god. That is all I got. Ooh, this thing is coming after me. Ugh. We almost got it. I know we can do it. Ooh. Oh my god. I need my ult to come back. Ooh. Oh, you know what? I don't think she went to the... Damn. Got hit. Didn't get the extra flask. You're good about getting me back up. Oh my god! Let's go. I knew we could do it. I knew we could do it. Ooh. Sure. Level 7. Right. So when it opens back up. Go there. And we'll fight a dragon. Made it to day 2 again, y'all. Woohoo! Day 2. I keep pushing the wrong button to run. Now we fight him. Oh my god, do you see how long it takes me to remember what the buttons are?
What in oblivion is that?
Shit. Scared me. It's a hippopotamus. He's gonna have spikes here in a second, I guarantee it. Ooh, fuck it up, y'all. Nice. Stone sword key. Shut up. Shut up. Nice. Nice. Wraith calling bell. Cool. Right. Where to next? Yeah, let's just go straight ahead. Follow me, y'all. Hope they're following me. I don't know if they are. Isn't that awesome? Right. Coming. Fair enough. Sounds pretty gross, man. You. Oh. What do we get from it? Nice. I had to take it because it's for magic. Ooh. Yeah. About to head to bed. Okay. Sweet dreams. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for being here. Built. Boiled crab. Sure. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Yeah, fuck it up. Yeah. If that opens or not. Right, Rose head, yeah. So I don't think my graphics card can keep up. A troll! Oh, and he's a pot thrower too. I'm about to get a pot yeeted at me. Oh! My graphics can't seem to keep up very well, but that is okay. I'm gonna keep moving, y'all. Actually, I want to try to go this way first. Well, I don't want to use. Ah, my arm is falling asleep. Here we go. Need to be headed this way. That storm's gonna come in. Right? I wonder what this thing is. Golden light. What is this? Are we just... So confused. Oh, here we go. Oh, we don't have a... Nice. Oh, a god skin. Oh, shit. Come. Wish I could have caught that instead of... It's funny because it's like the same fights too. So if you play Elden Ring, you kind of know what you're doing. Wow, that was very close to my buns. Oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nice. Need a better, wand. Nice. It sucks because I'm gonna have to, like, more often than not, be the one to ping where we're going. Brought us right into Scarlet Rot. Bullshit. Penguin Noble. Hit that shit. Yeah. Ouch. Whoa. So it's very true that you don't find very many legendary or epics like weapons either. I have yet to find a weapon. Oh, you gotta add for Civ. Is that 7? They're torturing you. Sorry, baby. They're saying. Yeah, I have yet to find. I guess I saw a purple one, but. Oh shit! Oh my god, they got me. Oh, there's see this. Oh crap. Exactly what I wanted. Oh, it's too late for this. No. No. They're fighting it. Can't do it, my dude. Come on. Come on. He's running. Now I'm thinking I need it. There's a dragon getting flying, bitch. Where are they at? I didn't find a better nothing. Oh shit. Bringing us to the center of the tree. Until Summon Island. So do you level up by finding sites of grace? You level up by killing things and then you walk up to the site of grace and it's like, ta-da. Did it. The magic. There's one. I gave myself that bubble, that's cool. Isn't using up any of my magic now, nice. You go invincible too when you do this for a second, which is perfect. I feel like I shouldn't probably use it at the beginning of a fight though, because it gives you back stuff. Ooh! Like health and magic, whatever you've lost. Whoa, what? Huh? Blood flame is crazy. Woo! Oh my goodness. Why does Wilder have that thing on him? Oh shit. Nice. Damn. That was awesome, but it wasn't anywhere near him. Oh. Red crosshair made me Wilder has an aggro pulling move. I think so. That's what I'm... Oh, shit! Oh, shit. Nice. Oh, wow. Okay. I need to watch what I'm picking up, because they do different things. Yeah, come get me, buddy. Oh. I lied. Don't. Please don't. Please don't. Lied. Oh man, that blood against him goes so well. What the heck is this? Oh, he dropped it. We're gonna get this shit. Yeah, kick him. Kick him while he's down. Uh-oh. We did it! Oh my god, day 2! Oh shit. Oh fucking shit balls. Someone's a dark cloud of stars overhead that release a violent... Yeah. Yes. Should I have not done that? Should I have not done that? I did it! Oh my god! Oh shit. I hope they follow me. This is day 3. Okay, thank god. Can't strengthen nothing. Purchase. Ooh. This temporarily boosts. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Alright. Yeah, literally, that's what I'm thinking. Holy shit. What the heck? We're about to go fight the Night Lord. Oh my god. We made it this far! I can't believe it. I'm glad you're here, Astral. You understand my nerdiness right now. This is totally wicked. I can't believe we made it to day 3. I didn't think I'd be able to do it this fast, I guess. From the 3 fingers, that's what I thought too. Oh, sandals are cute. This is so sick. Thanks, baby. I'm so nervous. It's gonna be this massive 3-headed monster. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh. Alright. Here we go. Oh, look at the stars rain down. The stars! They're singing! Can you get that close? Oh shit! Ah! Oh. Oh my god. Doggy. Oh my god, I got 2 of us. Duchess! Don't fuck this up. No fucking way. Damn! We barely got in there! We got destroyed! Holy fuck. Damn. Damn. That took all of 10 seconds. Worth it. That was cool. At least I got to see it, I guess. Use guard counter. Had the right idea to go invisible, it like ran right into him. I know they should have run over to me because it like takes the focus off of them. Deuces. Lady Duchess. Go ahead and Gladius's design is incredible. 2 legs in the back, 4, 6 up front. Yeah, and they like split up too. So what do I do with these little points? Tricephalos. Dang, that was fast. Let's go. Loose mate. Dang, I should have known. We were playing okay, but like, to be fair, that's the first time any of us have gotten there. I think it sucks that we're not going to be able to learn his fight style. Jessica! Hello! Thank you for the raid! That music is very long. Hello, hello. My name is Besanii. Jessica, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the raid. How was stream? If you need to run and use the bathroom or get food or anything. Oh no, you're perfect. No. So fine. I am a variety streamer. I stream and make emotes, and I'm obsessed with Elden Ring. So this has been the most fun I've had in a long time. It's been great. Yeah, this guy already knows what he's doing. Right. I don't know. I thought I did. It didn't work. Did you do exclamation point? Oh. Well, y'all go check out Jessica. Because I don't have a thing. What did you play? To lay in bed playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure and solo leveling? Okay, that sounds like a great night. I put that on my watch list actually recently. Friend Peach watches it and she made it look good. Where are we going? Yeah. I was gonna say that spot first because a lot of shit there. Thank you. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, brother. Oh, thank you so much. Should have picked up another weapon. I keep forgetting. Oh! Fucking A every fucking time. It's so loud in my ears. Dissy. Crazy. Marvel killed your brain. It's been killing my vibe. I feel that. Oh, I'm out of magic. I'm out of magic. Ouch. Oh, I just got punched one time and got down. Where's our third? Fine, Guardian. If that's. Can you tell them I said thank you? Gotta add and goodbye. Go do cute stuff. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for the raid. I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you for the lurk. Starlight Shard, thank you. Have a cozy night. Hi, Pops! LOL, everybody's getting ads. Sorry. Have to run through this again, I think. Welcome back. This game is low-key hard, like the first day. I think it's the hardest time. Need a second weapon. But I can't do that. Shit. Nice. I hope you've been well, Pods. It's good to see you. You get this game right now? I already bought the pre-deluxe pack. Oh shit. Death of loss. You had to sign up for. Hello? You had to sign up for the network test, and that ended in like January, I believe. The game comes out in May though, so you got, I mean, a little bit of time. Ooh, a cat stuff. Alright. Currently drunk, just got back from the bars. I'm dead. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Yeah. Doku is being cute. Is always cute. We were sick actually, so we got to spend the whole week together. But yeah, we couldn't go out and do anything, so we had COVID, both of us. Quite sure how we got it. Guardian go. So our cute stuff was spending the week together. But we are better now. Excuse me. Flame is already coming in. Gotta go this way. Gathering. Need to keep an eye out for these. Not enough of that. It could have done without the sentient trash bags. Hey, what are we talking about? What do you mean? Alright. How the hell did he get over there? Whoa! Huh. Wait, the storm is coming. You go all the way down here. What is this? Boost my room? It is fun. Yes, I'm enjoying myself. The weird slugs. Oh yeah. Need to... Need to actually fight something. Just gonna run and hope that they follow me. Okay. What? Yeah, I can parkour off everything. I wish there was a counter for the storm. I don't know how long we have until it starts moving again. Ouch. I have enough shit for this. Guardian died. Where is Duchess? She went over there. Go. I hope that they add some sort of in-game chat. It's gonna be annoying if, like, can't ever talk to your randos. Go, girl. Let's do it. Oh! Is gathering. Ouch. Whoa. What? Any of that? I want to snack. I am getting free. I'm tired of people never being oh. I like the movement. I only feel slow some. Oh, the storm. Shit. Here already? Fuck me. Shit. Here we go. I will say I think I'm the most tired of fighting this thing. Damn. Why can't I pick anything up? I'm trying to keep an eye on my people's health and stuff too, because that's probably when I'll use my ult. Nice. This is a good time to use it. They should get some stuff back. Thanks, baby. I appreciate it. I am excited about it too. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna say in it about this, but talk about how I had a good time. I really like the idea of Recluse because, like, I can pick up all different kinds of magic and stuff, but it's whatever one's like being used presently. So I'm the only one, or well, me and Duchess are using the night magic, like glintstone. Yeah. Bye-bye. He's excited. Woohoo. Explain the mechanics, how much fun you had, what you enjoy, what you wish you had. That's a good idea. Very true. All right. Day 2. Big creature in the distance, or was that just you? Not sure. Oh, these big cloud things? Yeah, those are wild. I feel like if I just ping stuff, people will be like, okay, let's go there. Need somebody to direct. Tentacles? Sure. Down? That just left? What the hell? Like we're gonna get a third member. Oh. So annoying. A bunch of bows. Those stars are OP. Oh, I got eaten. Oh god. Oh, these stars are awesome. Fuck yeah. Yeah, boy. You had fun watching? Definitely convince you to get the game. Yeah, nice. Have a good night. Thank you for watching. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Ugh. Ooh. Get that iron. Or the Mormon gun. No, Doku, I said. Oh my god. DM me your thoughts on the game. You're with your pre-order. I'm gonna go get drunk. Oh shoot, a drunk booty call? You should. Have a good night. Pineapple sauce and electrolytes ready. I'm sick. I am sick. Enjoy your night. Alright, where is this dude? I'm coming, bro. How the fuck am I supposed to get in there? Made it. Oh my god. Forsworn captain. Oh my god. Not like magic. Any. I think this game is worth the pre-order. Rock sling. Dang, it says it's better though. I'm so confused. No, we just need to go. I don't feel like we'll be able to get much farther with just the two of us. Just the two of us. We can. I think should have done that one at a time. Fortunately. Oh. Oh, foggy. Don't want to do that. I do have commands. I do have a list. I'm not quite sure. Should be commands. Come on, my dude. Need to fight something else. The freaking Duchess. We're gonna be pushed towards that tree, so oh my god. Oh. right. Guys, they're singing. Dang, I should have taken that Nagikaba. I'm stuck. I lost. Alright, here we go. Oh. In. How did we break that? It's gonna be hard. What she said. Ouch. Wait, that was doing more damage than I think. I can hold 2 at once. That's easy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Come get me, my dude. Come get me, hurry. Oh, he missed. Oh my god. Dang, that's my fault. We're gonna lose. Oh, that's unfortunate. Defeat. Well, don't be the asshole that left mid-game. So freaking rude. Polished luminous scene. Try, thank you, darling. You don't have to stay up the whole time, is what I was saying. Guard count. Oh, Lord. Took my sweatshirt off and my shirt came up and I was like, oh shit, my camera. And then I realized I don't have it. Feel like if there is a bit more diversity with the bosses and hopefully the maps a little bit, this could potentially be a game I would think like hours into. That's Wonder if all this stuff is gonna save to the PlayStation. Alright, I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quickly. We shall continue with the game. Love to be able to completely finish a 3-day thing. Be cool. Matchmaking complete. I am really enjoying this game though, I'm very glad. You're funny. What the heck? Oh wait, there's 3 of us. Oh, there's 2 of us again. Wahoo! See me get mad there for a second. Better to have a Alright, I guess we're going his way. Whatevers. I really like the music too, it's very pretty. Do this thing. Salted flesh. We can get up here, huh? Oh shit. Where the heck is a sanguine noble? I'm out of magic. Out of magic. Bitch. No! Well, clearly I am well gifted with the sword. God. A troll! Oh! Ah! Oh, finally. Where's this noble? Oh! 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 Oh, there he is. I feel like I should be able to pick up the Godskin flame. Uh-oh, whoa, Wilder. Okay. I can almost spam this shit. Doesn't last that long, but yeah. Ooh, Lasat. Flintstone. Whoa, what the heck? Yeah, I saw that. What the hell is he hiding over there? Minimum levels. Damn. What level am I? 7? I personally don't want to keep fighting little dudes. What? Woo! I'm stuck. We are never all like 3 together. I think voice chat would help eliminate that problem. Because it's kind of crazy that we'll be like halfway across the map and then not able to get to our other teammates because we don't know really what's happening. Yeah, for sure. Oh! Yeah, but I don't know what this thing is up here. Damn it. Going up here. Oh! What the heck is this? Oh my god. Oh my god. Ew. This is actually very helpful. Oh. Right. Need another flask too, but there's churches. Oh wait. lady sing. Storm is coming. Wait. How's about this? I saw it in a video. Thank you, Vati. Do need to go to that. No! Ugh. I wonder if this gets it for everyone or if it's only for you. Run, girl, run! That extra, like, what's it called? Flask really does help. Oh shit! Oh shit! Excuse me. I need to understand what this glowing light is, though. It's like an Erd tree, but it's nowhere near. Oh my god, they left. Why do people keep leaving? I don't understand. Already in. Oh, you know what? This might be just telling us, hey, this is where the fight is. I need fire. At least I have a sword this time, though. I don't think I can level up outside of the storm. Game looks fun, even as someone who hasn't tried. Well, that's good. Glad I make it look fun. Oh! I didn't get to level 9, so I can't use this frickin'... It really is just like a different kind of monster hunter, I feel like. I mean, I know nothing about Monster Hunter, clearly, but... I feel like I should be able to get the fire on his back. Ouch. Nope. Gonna get pretty good at fighting this one. And I'm out. Girl. Woo. Nice. Come on. Magic, I'm not doing a damn thing. Nice. Oh. Did that shit, just the two of us. Lightning upon dodge? Pretty cool. Bastard. We did it, girl. I'd say this is a win. It's a good game. Highly enjoying it. Buddy. Oh shit, I forgot I have the lightning dodge. Let's go fight the dragon. Fight hymns. Oh shit. Now I can get fire. Most annoying thing about dragons is that they fly. This shit does. Bye. Damn. Come on, girl. Got it. Yeah, good idea. Let's go. Ooh, a great enemy felled. That's pretty cool. His attacks again. Fuck. Lifelorn? I don't know what that. Any of that yet? That one? Whatevers. Bark aromatic. I feel like I should keep one of these on me. Just in case, but I prefer having the stones. Ooh, I can get both. What, Bessie? Magic back. Going over there. Wait, we did that, didn't we? I'm gonna get me. There's another little boss right here. Rain grows heavy. Guardian. Didn't work. Oh my god. Bye. I guess it's not completely impossible, but like when you get to the bosses, I feel like it'll be a rough time for people. Oh, you already went in there. My bad. I'm coming. I do wish you could just pull out the burb. Like to glide from high places. I kind of hate that you have to just drop down. But it's not like you're that slow anyway, so it's not like it's that big of a deal, but volcano pot. Pot is fire. Oh. Like sphere, very nice. I like doing this. I already see the fire coming. Where's the last? There he is. Did he just have Frenzy Flame? Awesome. Whoa, that was sick. Fire and lightning look crazy together. Yeah, did it. I haven't done that one. Ooh, a glintstone staff. Magma and... Yeah. I believe we have to go this way. Oh, so I leave magma in my wake now. Woohoo! Dang, I got lots of abilities. Cool. Feel like I might hate that. See. Here we go, yo. Into the fray. Going, bestie. We're fighting this first. And not a bad idea. All I have to do is dodge. Staff of the Guilty. Yes. I thought that was the Guardian dying. I was like, you mother. I also hate how the talismans can only be picked up by one person. Because it's very rare if you ever get one of them. Feel. Hey! Oh wow. What in the world? Fuck. Oh, that last one I thought was gonna get me. Oh my god, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. Did nothing. Oh my god. No! We're halfway. Oh no. Dang. I honestly couldn't see with how much stuff I had every time I dodged or tried to run. That's okay. Alright, well I think that's gonna be probably it for me. I highly doubt I'll be able to get in a full game by the time the servers close in 7 minutes, so. Holy shit, I can't believe we got to play it. That is, I guess, where I will leave it. I got this on me. I do. Let me see. What else we got? It's so cool that there's so many different abilities. No recovery for nearby allies, but not for self. Max HP increased by a portion when guard counter. Gonna set these up for when I try other people. Stamina recovers with each successful attack. Death blight resistance. Improved guard counters. Very cool. Holy attack power and critical hits. So I guess we'll just keep getting a bunch of these. I feel like selling any of them, I don't think that would be a good idea. Plus I don't even know what I can use the points for yet. Anywho. Alright, let's see. Find somebody. Raid really quickly. I had so much fun. I can't believe I got it to work and that, I don't know. We got it to work. Let's see. I'm gonna try to stream it again, I think, Sunday night. There are a good amount of people playing, Nightreign right now. Crap. Not a lot of people that I have in my, like, follow line, but there's somebody with 15,000 followers or viewers watching them play it. Crazy. Alright, well, I guess we'll pick this one. Oh, she is not at her camera. I want to raid more Nightreign people, but I know it's about to end. I think we're gonna raid this new person that I followed a few days ago. They play Elden Ring as well. They're also playing Nightreign. Good night, Dad Jokes. Thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate you. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Alright. Raid has been created. Have a wonderful night's sleep, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching me geek out over this game. I could not be happier with it, in all honesty. I feel like there's little things that can be tweaked, but other than that, I would say it's a pretty fun experience. And it's a nice level of competitive where, like, it keeps me interested and I don't get tired of it. So I am very excited to play more of it. I hope you guys will continue to follow me on this journey and look out for a YouTube video coming out soon about my experience. Alright guys, thank you so much. Have a good night and I will see you later. Bye!